Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my weekly review for this week's episode of The Walking Dead Season 5. This one's episode 15, the second last episode, which is Try. And major spoiler warning if you guys haven't seen the episode yet. So, man, just finished watching it. And just to give my immediate reaction right off the bat to you guys, I was like I was so just pumped by the episode. Just the build and the tempo and the sound and everything just keep building and building and building. And right at the end, of course, when you see Peter walking when Rick's there talking with her. And just, oh man, just when it all goes down. My favorite part would have to be when Rick throws Peter out the damn window. Because they shoot it from an angle on the outside. You just see the window, he just goes right through it. Oh man, I was just like, I was just so pumped up at that moment. I was just like, oh my gosh, my heart was just like beating out of my chest because love the show. Obviously, love the characters, love Rick as a character, and just to see the kind of weird position that he's in at this point in time in the series, where he's joined this new group and he has to get along with them. He's used to always calling the shots. He's used to always being the leader, and in this new community, since they've decided to join, he's not, the head honcho, so to speak, or he's, one of the, the people that are part leader of this bigger group. But of course, the main leader you would have to say is probably Deanna. She, of course, tells Rick that she doesn't, well, not that she doesn't care, but she's not willing to do anything about Peter hitting his wife because in terms of value and what they can add to the community there, Peter's a surgeon. Peter has, very, very useful skills. But then Jessie, on the other hand, she doesn't really. I mean, she can take care of the kids. She can do that. She can do stuff around, the community and that. But she obviously doesn't have those kinds of skills. So Deanna, kind of lets Rick know and lets us know that she's kind of let this slide. And from Rick's perspective, just totally unacceptable. And I also liked kind of how they mixed the two, where halfway Rick is behaving the way he is because he is that type of leader and because he has been the leader of his group all this time. But the other half is the selfish, kind of reasons, selfish desires, and how he feels about Jessie at this point in time in the series. And she kind of asks him that as well too, is, would you do this just for anybody? And the answer is basically no. So he's got these mixed emotions, which I really like. And of course, Carol's egging him on as well too to do something about this. And then Peter just walks in at the absolute worst time possible. So man, the final scene. So the fight between the two of them was just so intense. It was so insane, man. It reminded me so much of like Season 2, 18 Miles Out, Shane and Rick just throwing down. Very similar type of situation. Not as long of a fight, which didn't take up like half the episode, but definitely the final part, going through with that was just insane. And then when he finally pulls out the gun, and you have all these people that are watching. Wow, he came on so strong that I was like, oh man, it's not, this isn't good, because you have, it's the whole Joe quote again, that the nothing sadder than an outdoor cat that thinks that it's an indoor cat, and it's the same thing. It's the whole too far gone concept that we've seen The Walking Dead, analyze for many seasons now, and Rick at this point in time in the series is too far gone to be able to relate to and see the way Deanna and the people of Alexandria, the way they're behaving and what they're doing. Now, let's just get it out of the way right off the bat. Probably the part that everybody's going to be talking about or wondering what I think about, let's not delay it any further, is the one to stop Rick is Michonne. She hits him with like a rock or something? She smokes him, knocks him unconscious, and comes out of nowhere. Because, well, okay, first of all, we know Michonne is somebody that is very sneaky. She can sneak up behind the governor. She can stab him. She can, with the sword and everything. She's used to sneaking around all the time. So it makes sense that Rick wouldn't see it coming from her. But also, too, that we hadn't even seen where she was at in the episode. Like, we knew earlier that she was with Rosita and Sasha on the outside, and then later, like, she just comes out of nowhere. She's like full in, cop uniform and everything like that. And it just kind of hit us like a ton of bricks. Hit Rick like a ton of bricks too. She comes across and just boom, cracks him, and he goes out, right? So I want to focus on that, right away, and what I kind of think about that, my reaction to that. First of all, I was just flabbergasted when it happened, even though I knew in the Walking Dead comic book series that was how it went down. So it's exactly true to the comic book series, but it still shocked me when it happened, And even still, the same thing with the Peter fight, even when they're just talking and when you've got this building tension to them fighting, I was just like, man, just like, where's my heart rate at? Like, it's through the roof. Oh man, so crazy. I was ready to lose it. So, right. So Michonne being the one to do it, it's so weird. Okay, so here's the deal with this and what I think about it. So Michonne is a type of character where she's used to being on her own, right? So she can be on her own out there in the open for however long, necessary. She knows about, characters being out there too long, what it can do to people, what can happen to people, and she internalizes that and sees in this situation that Rick is, in fact, too far gone. So she decides to do that. She decides to hit him rather than, them trying a coup or something and actually just taking over, which is, it seems to me, that's the attitude that Rick has. But definitely with regards to trusting others, which we saw earlier with Aaron, Michonne is more accepting and open to these things. Rick is not. He sees it as us and them, and like Glenn, like we're part of them now. Rick doesn't really see it that way. He still doesn't really see it that way. I mean, he sees that they're joining, but he also is not willing to kind of toe the line, so to speak, and say, okay, this is my job and I can't make these decisions anymore. No, he sees it as these people don't know what they're doing. And you know what? He's totally 100% correct. They don't know what they're doing. Even on the part at the beginning of the episode, they're like bumping music and stuff, and it's like, what are you idiots doing? You just have no idea what you morons are doing, because the experience that Rick and the rest of the group has had all this time has taught them so many things that you should not do in a zombie apocalypse. And they see all the mistakes these people are making. They see what they're doing. And, add in the little bit of selfishness that Rick has because he likes Jessie in this situation. It perfectly within character for him to behave this way, and I really liked it a lot, especially since he's lost his wife. And how is he going to feel about some guy that not only doesn't appreciate having his wife, but is actually hitting her, beating their kids. He even punches her, like in the fight he hits her, right? And I was just so flabbergasted by it. I was like, wow. So definitely wanted Rick to kick his ass and basically kill him, but it wasn't an organized coup. It wasn't something that he had set up before. He was compelled to do something because he's used to taking action and being leader all the time. So he's compelled, and at the same time, he does it in the least inopportune time. When middle of the day when everybody's around and Peter just waltzes right in. At nighttime definitely would have been better than if he would have disappeared or something afterwards. But because he brought it up to Deanna first, he would be the first person she would look at for who did it. And also you have the Gabriel thing with him bringing that information to Deanna, now really looking like Deanna may have made a mistake by letting them join the group. So really... Man, so with Rick's perspective, everything totally makes sense. Everything totally fits. I like it. Michonne's, as I described earlier, I can see how she sees things differently than Rick. I still found it weird, and even in the comic book series, the TV series more so though than the comic book series, when she actually attacks Rick or she knocks him out. Now she does understand that he's too far gone. She understands all these things, but I still found it to be very strange that she basically, what she did is she showed that she's not loyal to Rick, right? She's not, even because if he's wrong, she's going to hit him in the head with a brick or something, So she totally has assimilated or joined to this Alexandria group now, and she actually accepts Deanna and the others as being basically in charge and as not allowing Rick and the others, if they wanted to, Glenn and his trouble he's had with Nicholas, to, do some kind of coup and actually take over. So man, really, really just crazy stuff. I think what I'll do is we'll do a video probably tomorrow or the next day, and we'll just focus on Michonne and her decision to do that, whether or not it makes sense. I don't want to spend the entire review just focusing on that, but that's what we'll do. We'll do a video this week because, of course, we do videos almost every day. We'll do one this week, and we'll talk about in more detail what I think about Michonne, whether or not it makes sense. It was strange that it was her, and I wouldn't normally think that she would be, because I usually think she's mostly loyal to Rick, but she has always had that thing where she's questioned authority, like with the governor and that. She doesn't just blindly follow. She's somebody who's a thinker, and she's got a rebellious nature to her as well too, and she has aligned herself with the Alexandria people rather than staying as a part of the survivor group, Rick's group prior. So very wow, very interesting stuff, and definitely something we can focus on and talk about more, so we'll do that. But just to give you my general thoughts on that, did feel it was a little weird that it was her. Can rationalize and see why it would be her to do that, but I felt like she was more loyal to Rick and the survivors, and I am surprised that she made that decision at that time. I am. But anyway, we'll focus on that more this week. We'll do a video talking about it. Maybe we'll do it Tuesday or Wednesday, and we'll focus just on that, and we'll talk about that. And that way you guys can comment, and we can get our thoughts out there entirely in a whole video based on that. So aside from that with the review, lots more things to talk about. So definitely the ending was just absolutely stellar, just amazing, man. Just all the building, and they really use sound this episode, music this episode, really good. You got the beginning, you've got the sound bumping, and you've got the casserole cooking, and all this different stuff happening, and it just felt so intense. It just so built up and felt so intense by the end of the episode. I was just ready to lose it. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to watch it again, to tell you the truth, because it was just that good. So let's go over the other things. Next biggest thing I'd like to point out is that we find out in this episode the person that stole the J-gun was not Enid, which most of us thought it was. Most of us thought that Enid was the one who found the J-gun that Rick hid originally and had taken it. We find out now it was not actually her, and that Nicholas must have seen Rick, or planting that there when he was outside of the community, or he must have just stumbled across it. But he definitely was the one who had it, and he's taken it now, and he's got a gun. He's armed. So you have the case with him and Glenn. What's going to happen is Nicholas going to shoot Glenn. We know Glenn is still loyal to Rick, of course. And, I was expecting when the fight all broke out at the end, possibly Glenn to just grab him and just have the new, the new group with Alexandria versus the survivors, just tooth and nail to battle to the death, and just have Rick's group take over. I really thought for a minute that they might try it or they might go for that, because the TV series doesn't always have to follow the comics, and I really wanted to see that, to tell you the truth, just to see how it would have gone or something. Just craziness, just a brawl breaks out. Like Glenn just grabs him, starts punching him, and Michonne hits somebody with a rock, but it's not Rick, somebody else, because they just want to take over something. So. But I guess that's not who they are. Yeah, they're still good guys, all that. Is it weird that I want them to be like, I find myself wanting them to be more evil. I don't know why that is. That's something about me internally, I think. I've got some issues, so there it is. Unless some of you guys think the same, I don't know. But that's what I would say. So for the finale, Nicholas has a gun and nobody knows it. So that's big. That could be our character death in the finale. So we'll talk more about that in the predictions. I'll have the predictions posted for you guys in an hour or two. If you're watching this video after Sunday night, just I'll put the link in the description. I'll put a prediction annotation, right here for you guys, so you guys can go ahead and click that to see what I think is going to happen next. But yeah, Nicholas has got a gun. Rick is KO'd right now. We see him waking up in the promo. We see that he's all messed up and stuff. And Michonne, man, wow. Okay, all right, we'll leave that for the next one. Going on from there, so we had the intro part with Deanna, Sam, and Carol, and I liked in this episode too, they brought up a point that I hadn't really thought of when I was doing videos leading up to this point, is why does Carol care so much? And it's because Ed used to beat her. And she sees it as she wouldn't be here right now if the zombies hadn't gotten him. Rick says you would. And I agree with Rick. I think she would have been able to kill Ed. Yes, I do. Because, we know Carol at this point in time. And I think she had that inside her always to do that, based on what we've seen from her afterwards when she had to pull something out with Terminus and that, right? But I am a little bit surprised that Carol didn't just attempt to kill Peter herself and just leave it be at that. But she goes to Rick for leadership because she's not sure what to do, because of course you got Deanna, you've got the other people involved as well too. So she doesn't 100% just get a gun and sneak in and kill him herself, right? Which you might think Carol might do, but I really liked how they explain why she's focused so much on this with this Sam kid and stuff, is because she can't look away because she was in that position and she feels for Jessie. Rick, on the other hand, too, he feels for her too, and he wants to protect the people in his group. But we get the sense that he sees her as, possible wife, as a possible mate. And then we get this, classical Shane versus Rick, with Peter, except Laurie, you have Jessie, and, this old school type, fight over a woman type thing, the drama, right? Alpha male, Peter grunting, you're in my territory, Rick's inside the house, blah, blah, blah. And you get the whole fight breaks out for alpha male, territorial, something that goes back, how long with human beings? Probably forever, right? And even prior. Okay, so loved all that stuff. Nicholas is armed. Love the stuff with Carol. Also like the scene with Pete, keep walking. He tells him to keep walking because at this point, he knows what Pete is doing, and he's not going to accuse him of it, because if he asks Pete, or if he says, Pete, hey, are you doing this to your wife or whatever, he knows that Pete's just going to take it out on her, and it's just going to cause, more trouble. Carol tells him about, Sam locking himself in, and all this stuff is happening, and her being unconscious, and man, just absolutely brutal when you hear about this kind of stuff, and we never really got to see it aside from him backhanding her during the fight, which I felt like was enough for us to see to want this guy to just be killed anyway. Okay, so there's all that stuff, amazing stuff. We had the Michonne, Rosita, and Tara being stable for now, but we're not 100% sure she's going to be all right. But at least she seems to be stable, so that's good. And then you have Sasha. So you got Sasha. She's running around, taking out her aggression, taking out her anger. She's just pissed at this point. They're losing a lot of their people that she loves, cares about a lot. You have Noah dying too, and Bob and Tyrese. And she's pissed off they're killing so many black people. I'll just say it, okay? No racism here, but, all of her friends are being killed off. You really can't joke. Humor's a weird thing. If you go too far with humor, I've gone too far, but I'm not going to edit it. You guys understand. I am not a racist, okay? I'll just put that out there, too. But they're killing all the black people. It's The Walking Dead. We know how it goes. Oh, they kill the white people, too. It doesn't necessarily matter. And they don't discriminate. They kill everybody. Let's just say it. But, I see the jokes in the comments and stuff, so I felt like putting that in there. Right. So, okay, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to say about it. You had some cool flashbacks with Michonne. I did like the one, especially the one from season 2, where it shows her and she's got the cloak on and all that when she actually saved Andrea, if you guys remember. We didn't get to see Andrea, but we saw her kind of all the flashbacks and everything. And I like that quite a bit. Discussion, we found out that the 4 graves with Deanna were from prior, so that wasn't actually new characters that have been buried. Those were kind of from characters before, and then the discussion with Rick. And yeah, I think that's mostly what I want to say about the episode. One more thing, the W zombie. So we got to see a little bit about what the wolves do and what they've been up to. And you had the part with Daryl and Aaron, where they actually find the one that the wolves had gutted and left her there, and then carved the W into her forehead. Just absolutely brutal, man. And they're kind of on their trail right now. But I kind of figure at this point that if they're scouting and they're looking for people to join, they're probably going to get the hell out of there, because really there's only 2 of them, right? And the wolves could have how many people we don't even know. They saw the fire, but they obviously know that they're not people that they would want to join the Alexandria now. So I expect Daryl and Aaron to try to get out of there next week pretty soon in the finale, because of course you don't want to run into these guys. And what's going to happen if they spot them? Daryl and Aaron head back, and then they get chased by the wolves, and then the wolves find their way there. I'm thinking that's probably what's going to happen. But anyway, we'll focus more on that in the actual the actual predictions video I'll have for you guys soon. So in terms of just an overall, semi, close to finale, second last episode, it was incredible, especially the ending. Midway through, I was like, this is pretty good, and then you see the fight with Rick and Pete, and it's just absolutely incredible. Can't wait to watch it again and hear all the dialogue again that Rick was saying, all the different things he was saying, and just everything. I just can't wait to watch it again because it was so intense. I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. It was just The Walking Dead. It's amazing. It's always amazing, and I can't wait to see the finale. Wow, man, awesome episode. So let me know what you guys thought about it. Let me know what you think about the fight between Rick and Pete. What you think about what Deanna's going to do and everything. Let's do some predictions. I may do a top 5 best later tonight, but definitely the predictions video will be up for you guys pretty soon. 9 out of 10 for me. Absolutely loved the episode. Go ahead and thumb up the video if you guys like the thumb up down below. If you want to share it to your Facebook or favorite it, I would appreciate it. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left, all you have to do is click subscribe. That's it for this one, guys. I'll see you for the next one. As always, it's Trev. Saying peace.